Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope doing well. I know no one really watches these, but this is just something I wanted to see if I could talk about, even talk about half of it. So obviously I like this guy. I think he's a good YouTuber. He's a history YouTuber, and he was a history teacher. At whatever school he used to. I think he lives in like Kansas. I don't know, but I was like, man, I wanna watch this because I was like, I'm not part of this theory. I don't support it. I don't, it's whatever. But the reasons why he's saying that it's not true. Well, I wouldn't say untrue, but non-significant is a little stupid. A lot of the points that he says is dumb or just illogical. So I just want to talk about it. So, by the way, I want to probably put in a credit to him. I own no rights to his video, so I'll put the link probably to his video in the description, but this is kind of like a response in case everybody wants to watch. So, obviously Wikipedia has their little thing right here. White nationalism, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. You look at statistics, it's already been proven, but not extinction level, but, By the way, basically the replacement theory, or so-called theory, is basically like all whites will be, exterminated or some stuff, which I don't think it's going to happen, obviously. It's not sure there's a lot of whites in the world. Not really going to happen. But I think the fact that saying that it won't be a major demographic change is BS. And this is kind of what he's saying. Some of his points are kind of stupid. So, like I said, I'm more in neutral. There's some things in the theory that are kind of like, yeah, that makes more sense. And there's things like, what are you talking about? You're nuts. So, I'm kind of neutral, but things he says is kind of like, yeah, there it is. Like statistics, it kind of proves otherwise from what you're saying. So let me just play the video.
White. Seriously, my skin color is white. Well, technically like peach, but I belong to a human group that can trace their ancestry to Europe with mostly lighter skin color.
As you mean more Northern Europe, obviously Southern Europe doesn't have that. Southern Europe is more, well, it's called Mediterranean for a reason. It's more like, where Italy is, it's darker skin colored. Obviously they're considered white, but they're not like white as in near. I don't even really call them white. I don't call them that. I just think they're European. So, the Mediterranean, like, it's, I don't call them white.
And I probably did.
But they're from the same continent, though, so.
Didn't have to tell you that because you can see me.
Yes, I can
right
see
now,
that.
Unless you're blind. Anyway, I bring this up because you may come across some xenophobic messaging when you're doing your thing on the old internet. You all remember what
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that on the internet. That's kind of what it is. People are going to have freedom of speech and freedom of expression expressed on the internet. It's kind of the entire point. So everybody can see what everybody else's thoughts and ideals and what they believe in, what they want, and all that sort of stuff. So, that's kind of the entire point. Obviously, discriminatory speech is going to be part of that, but,
xenophobia is, right?
Go back to Ireland, you dumb mitt! You remember that? Get back on the boat, Patty!
It's the fear of people from other countries. Now, even though this messaging is xenophobic, it's sneaky. In fact, it's terribly good at manipulating us. Despite being full of crap and despite it
I think it's not really manipulative. I think it's just more picky on what they're putting. Like, it's more like, yeah, you see a lot of less whites nowadays. There's a little demographic change. Oh, this is why. Well, no, it's kind of like that. I wouldn't call it deceiving. It's just, it's picky. It's like telling somebody half a story. You're not getting all the details. You're not wrong, but you're not telling it complete.
Probably going
And obviously, that's the reason. So they can, yeah, there's a reason for that.
against everything you value and believe. I even fell for it. And I'm supposed to be smart. By the way, I'm not that smart. I just pretend to be.
How? I mean, can you explain what you fell for? Maybe, like, what did you fall for in the theory? Was it all of it? Was it some of it? Was it, you know, you could be a little bit more elaborate on it. That'd be great.
Be smart on YouTube. But anyway, a few years ago, I noticed a bunch of folks who identify as.
Obviously, this is supposed to reference Charlottesville, Virginia. The Red Valley. This is supposed to put little, pink. I forgot. I just call them torches, but and there's a different name for them.
White started bringing up something called the Great Replacement. Put simply, the Great Replacement theory says that too much immigration.
Well, hold on. Here we go.
Of non-white folks to countries that are mostly made up of white folks is bad. Not only that.
Well, it can be bad. Not because of, well, the pigment is more of culture. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not really just because your skin's darker or lighter. It's a cultural thing. But that's associated with, like, race. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Just because you're one color doesn't mean, obviously, you're part of that culture. But, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. It's obvious. What I'm trying to say is just because your skin color is this color doesn't mean you're obviously assigned to that. But, you know what I mean? But, yeah, it can be. It can be. Look at Austria-Hungary, for example, after World War I. Or during World War I. They had so many different kinds of people that wanted so many different things, it just collapsed on its own weight. So, yeah, it can be bad. It is true. It can be bad.
Those who promote the Great Replacement theory argue that welcoming immigration policies for non-whites are part of a plot meant to either weaken.
I won't say it, but there's one political party that probably would want to utilize immigration. I'm just saying. I won't say who it is, but you probably know who I'm talking about. They like immigration mostly just so they can get the vote. But yeah.
Replace the political power and culture of white people living in Western countries.
Like I said, it's a cultural thing, etc.
When I say Western countries, it's not just Europe I'm talking about. I'm also talking about the Americas, Australia, and New Zealand.
Yeah, I guess Australia is a Western country. It has Western values, so I guess I wouldn't call it. I don't know. I guess it is. You're not wrong. The United States and the Americas, for example, and Europe, but I don't know about Australia. They got the ideals of it. I wouldn't call it a Western country. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't.
By the way, you might want to check out my video about Western values when you get a chance. Simply put, the Great Replacement.
Yeah, here we're talking about, this was the rally that happened in Charlottesville, I think it was around 2017. And this is Vanguard. They're called Vanguard.
Values when you get a chance. Simply put, the.
Yeah, this is Vanguard. I can tell because of their flag. It has the white flag and has the X on it. I don't. Obviously, you have your little battle flags and you got your patches, and they like to wear the helmets. Actually, the German helmet, or I forgot. There's a name for the German helmets. Also, this guy's. I don't know that's an eye patch or glasses, but.
Great Replacement is the alleged replacement of whites by non-whites. It often overlaps with a larger theory called the white genocide conspiracy theory, which revolves around the beliefs that powerful people are trying to prevent whites from having kids. Often the conspiracy.
And that's not exactly what it is, but I think that's a misrepresentation of what it's trying to say. But whatever, I'll let it pass. It's kind of part of it. That's not really exactly what they're trying to say. It's more like less white babies are born more than any other race of people. That's not really it. Like, there's more to it. That's what I'm saying. He lacks details. And he doesn't really support his statistics. He just kind of. He says everybody that supports this theory doesn't have statistics, but he doesn't say. He just says, "Oh, it's false." All right, next one.
Conspiracy
Whatever.
is blamed on, you guessed it, Jewish people. This theory is manipulative because it equates normal patterns of immigration with murder. It's trying to put a big equals sign between the new
You have to be more specific on what you mean.
Salvadoran or Syrian who lives down the street and a mental image of a concentration camp.
Of who? Whites? I mean, who are you talking about? Who's in it?
Now, obviously, if they literally did that, then you and I wouldn't fall for the messaging. Therefore, the messengers have to be a little bit more subtle about it. And lately, they've gotten pretty good at manipulating us. Here's the thing, though. Not only are those who preach about the Great Replacement theory manipulating us, but as it turns out, the entire theory is bullcrap.
Not all of it, but some of it, yeah, sure, maybe it's an exaggeration, but not all of it. There is backing to it. You can't say there isn't. There is. Even the mass media has been like, yeah, it's kind of true. They say whites will be, well, they call it majority-minority. So let's say whites are 45% of the population, and then all the other races of people are like, 10%, 12%. Got what I mean? So there's more of everybody else. But the biggest one is white. That's what I mean. You get what I mean? It's more like that. So, yeah, there's backing to it. So, not, like I said, dismissive.
It's literally not backed by evidence.
It is. I don't know what to tell you. I could look it up. There's statistics. Sorry. I think what was it, 2050? Look, nation's population 13% black compared to 12.8%. Asian population 14 and will grow to 41. Wow, that's actually a big deal. Wow, that's big. Ooh. Nearly tripling. I don't know what website is this? Pew. I mean, there's different. I don't know all my websites, but yeah. See, look, it's going up. It's gonna be by 2050. I mean, here's a website to prove it. There's multiple of these websites. I thought the U.S. government did one. But there is deny will grow. See, only 4% increase. Now, like I said, in comparison, it's more, but if you're comparing all of them together, it's less. So, yep. If you want to look at this website, you can't. But what I'm trying to say is, there's more. There's more to it than that. You have to do your research, though.
At all. There is no secret plot to get rid of white folks. But
well, that's the point of a secret. I mean, I don't know if it is. I don't know. I can't say yes or no, but that's kind of the point. You wouldn't know about it, so how would you know?
Just say that there was. Well, they must be doing a pretty poor job, eh? Since there are more white folks now than ever before. You might be thinking,
oh yeah, it's not like we grew from let's say 7 billion in total world population compared to only a couple, what was it, 6? I don't know all my statistics, but we've grown a hell of a bunch in the last, I would say century or more. We've grown a lot thanks to better healthcare and better medicine, technology, etc.
well, duh, Mr. Beat. But whites represent a smaller percentage of the proportion of the world. Well, who counts as white isn't based on genetics or even demographics.
That's not completely. Yeah, genetics. But it is kind of both, though, genetic-wise, yeah. Kind of is. Like I said, Northern Europe, more white. Southern Europe's a little bit darker. I don't even call them white. They're kind of their own. It's just Mediterranean. I mean,
It's based on politics. In the United
it can be.
States, for example,
It's a tool in politics, that's for sure.
Irish Americans, Italian Americans, and Polish Americans weren't considered white until the early 1900s. Greek Americans weren't white until just a few decades ago. Some Arab Americans used to be considered white, but by the end of the 1900s were no longer considered white. Even though race isn't a biological reality, it has still been a way for people in power to divide us up over the years.
Sorry, 1 second. Let me check something out. Something in Discord. That's not true, literally. I don't even know how I can argue with that on you. Oh, maybe that is. Oh, that's my admin. Hello, you watching? No? Okay.
Not only that, immigration is simply currently not high enough, nor will it likely ever be, to make it so that skin color, values, or culture will completely change in one country. Sure, there will be demographic.
One country? Have you seen the world history? Dude, you're a history teacher, man. You should be on top of this. It has a... man. Oh, boy. One country, yes, it can. And you will admit it either later or you did earlier. This country's culture has changed drastically in the last 100 years. So, I would even say in the last couple... Like, maybe... Since even when I was born, it's changed.
Demographic changes, and there already has
maybe last
been,
decade.
but there is no evidence that these recent demographic changes have dramatically changed the dominant culture and values of any one country.
Yes it has. Yet again, this culture, 20 years ago, it was less sensitive. It didn't even matter. Like, how do you not know? You even say, later on, that this country is changing, so where do you... Which one is it? Is it changing or is it not changing? Because I'll tell you one thing, it is changing very rapidly. People don't even know what the country was based off anymore. So I don't even know what you're on about. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Yeah, it has changed. If you say it hasn't, then you're a moron.
We often just see cultural assimilation. Oh, cultural assimilation is the process in which a minority culture gets absorbed into the dominant culture of a society. Not that that matters, as these immigrants already share American values. That's...
Not all of them. A lot of them still don't. I know Europe has this issue where they have Muslim immigrants come in legally or illegally, and they think abusing women is a good thing. They think it's fine, because in their culture it's acceptable. But we're Western, so we don't. Like... We're more moral. And these are the same people that declare jihad and, you know, would do stuff like 9/11 or terrorist attacks. So, yeah, that's also not true. People don't just because you come to America, but I have regular values. That's why I came here. No, not always. Yeah, most of it is just so they can get away from where the hell they live, or they have a job, or they have some other reason. It's not because, oh yeah, I like democracy. No, it's not. That's not why.
Why they're coming here. And the different cultures they bring are almost always beneficial to American society.
It's not. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even for me, obviously, tell you. Oh, so I guess demographic change for Native Americans was beneficial to all of them, right? Oh, they were benefited. What are you talking about? They got plague and had to move where the settlers come in. Oh yeah, they're all great. Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, beneficial, man. Demographic change. What are you talking about? It's not, dude. Literally, I'm gonna keep mentioning Austria-Hungary because it's a big one. Do your research. I'll look it up for you. Disillusions. Here, I can look it up. Disillusion. Yeah, there's your search history. Are you happy now? What was it? The destruction of Austria-Hungary. I was gonna say disillusion. I didn't know how to say it. Trying to look at it. I know I'm looking at. You have look at all these different countries. You have Croatians. You have Croatians. You have Serbians. You have Hungarians. You had. By the way, this was an empire of literally Austria-Hungary. It was a union kind of thing. So it had so many ethnic people that wanted to do so many different things, and you're telling me that like it had nothing. Well, you must have you need to read from the history book, because this is a big one. This is one of the reasons why it is usually never a good thing ever, because you have different cultures of different people coming into the same place, and it goes really badly. You must have a dominant culture in the country in order to be financially and socially stable, or else it's just gonna fall apart, because you're not gonna know which culture is acceptable, or it's just gonna be discombobulated. That's what the country's gonna be. It's gonna be discombobulated because it doesn't know what it's trying to be. It's like a teenager. He doesn't know what he wants to be, so he's trying to be so many different things, and then ends up just being depressed, right? So like, because he just doesn't know. It's like an identity. It's having an identity crisis. So it's never beneficial.
Also, most immigrants, and especially their children, assimilate peacefully into the...
Not all terrorist attacks. I'll tell you one thing. In my country, in Norway, or in heritage country, not always. A lot of them they literally have courses and lessons, so that way these Muslims, a lot of them, don't attack women and don't be jerks. I'm gonna be honest with you, bluntly. Jerk. They have courses for that, so that way they know what's acceptable and what's not in Western culture and in that country specifically. So yeah.
The existing culture, which, by the way, is constantly changing anyway, and
say it, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you gonna say it hasn't? And you're wishy-washy. Which one is it?
Has always been multicultural. This is no surprise.
Yeah. A lot of different races in this country have, like, very dominant, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have different groups. It wasn't 100% white. Yeah, that's true. But I want to call it multiculturalist. It was dominant white.
To me, as I've had many students who were the kids of immigrants, but if I didn't know they were the kids of immigrants, I would have assumed that their family had been in this country for many generations.
Well, that's fortunate for them, but I mean, that doesn't go for everybody.
So then it just comes down to skin color, and if you're really concerned that skin colors of all humans in your society might change, have you ever stopped to ask yourself why?
Oh, I don't know. The statistics prove it. Immigration. Yeah, I don't know what's making me think about that. Well, why would I be thinking that? Yeah, why would I be thinking? It's not like seeing so much different crap in the last decade or even the last couple of years. Yeah, why would they be thinking that? I'm crazy. I'm a psychopath. What are you talking about? Why would they be thinking that? No way. You're crazy. Or I'm crazy.
Skin pigmentation is highly correlated with distance from the equator. That's right. The random...
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen those commercials? Now they got, like, more biracial commercials. This was even prevalent, like, a year and a half ago. Well, maybe 2 years ago, probably. I would say before COVID, for sure. I never saw this many biracial families. It was crazy. Or at least ones that didn't have, like, an agenda. Like, you can watch a movie, you had movies that did sometimes, but even then, it felt forced. Like, you must love everybody without race. It doesn't matter. I watched, Doctor Sleep and had a biracial family, but I didn't really think about it, because they didn't push it any. It was just a biracial family. Who cares? Right? It doesn't matter. But, I digress.
Of how far you are from this line determines what color you get to be. The primary pigment in human skin is melanin, which is used to protect us from the sun. Just because your friend Jessica doesn't get sunburnt as often as you doesn't make her any less human. More than that, this distribution of colors has changed a lot over human history. And Europeans...
Can you show me pictures?
from even just 8,000 years ago looked dramatically different than they do today. Keep in mind that for the vast majority of human history, humans with lighter skin pigmentation.
Sorry, I'm getting messages on Discord. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. What's up, man? Oh, I haven't seen you. I have not seen you in a hot minute. I can't see my screen's not showing up. I can try to fix. Do you play Slendy Tubbies 3? That sounds like a FNAF thing, but no. I'm doing a response, I guess, video. I don't know what to call it. Kind of just bored. Yeah, I saw this video. I thought it was kind of stupid. So yeah, I don't know what that is.
Have not existed. So who came up with the Great Replacement theory? Well, apparently this dude came up with a modern concept of the Great Replacement theory, René Camus, a French writer who at least popularized the term with a couple books. The first
He was a very major or not want to say advocate. He was a major. He was significant to the spread of it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what it did start with him. That's true. I can't say anything about more than that. That's what happened.
Of which came out in 2010. Camus argued that white Europeans were being disproportionately replaced by immigrants from Africa and the Middle East. Which
there's a large access to this, especially with the Arab Spring. Yeah, it has. So I don't know what you're talking about. It has, like, literally. There's been, especially for in Europe, it's more the Middle East, and then for us, it's more everywhere. But Europe is Europe is really not that far away from the Middle East. Hell, it borders it. So I'm talking about even Northern Europe. I mean, this is not that far. If you really think about it, it's not that far. So, yeah.
Which could lead to the, quote, extinction of white.
Yeah, that's probably exaggeration, but major demographic change for the less was, yeah.
Camus particularly was afraid of Muslim immigration.
Acceptably, yeah, I would be worried too. With so many different cultures, thinking beating women's a good idea. Yeah, I'd be worried too.
Arguing they often had a much higher birth rate than whites. Even though around 40% of Muslims identify...
They do have polygamy and all that, so yeah.
...as... white, but I digress.
They aren't.
Not surprising that white supremacists were attracted to Camus' Great Replacement theory, but incredibly it became fairly mainstream by the time I first encountered it in this.
When was the last time I've seen a video on it? I haven't seen a YouTube video about white genocide. You're the first one to mention it.
2017 video by, what was her name? Warren Northern? Yeah, I think that was it. Well, the video has since been taken down, but still, back in 2017, it did very well, and just Warren casually bringing up the theory like it ain't no thing was surprising. It was proof that Camus had given white supremacists a powerful argument to use, even if that argument was false. Since then, his followers have described immigration as an invasion, and they generally promote the idea that...
I don't think one video literally had... I don't think it's just because of one video. But I've never seen this fucking video, so that's that, but whatever. He's implying that just because of this video it made it mainstream. No, it was just more acceptable. It was more like, oh man, that's some... It wasn't even that mainstream to begin with.
Non-white
one fucking video,
whatever that means, have dramatically different values than whites and are trying to erase white culture. Isn't it just another...
yeah, well, I'd say American culture, but yeah, there is... if you say American culture, then I have to agree with you.
Version of xenophobia? I mean, yeah, basically. Yeah, before Camus popularized his Great Replacement theory going back more than 100 years before that in France, there was a nationalist, anti-non-white immigrant movement brewing there. In fact, in most of the Western world, going back to the 1800s, there have been similar movements, especially due to the increase of immigrants to the Western world from African and Asian countries. Because of this xenophobia, many people in Western Western countries called for nativism, or the policy of protecting native-born citizens over immigrants. Xenophobia.
That's not discriminatory. That's just kind of us versus, well, I wouldn't say us versus them. It's just more putting more importance on us more than the outside world. It's kind of like a self-isolation kind of thing. I wouldn't call it discriminatory. The Chinese exclusion, yeah, sure, yeah, that was right. Yeah, that was pretty discriminatory, but nativism, not really.
Nativism, or the policy of protecting native-born citizens over immigrants. Xenophobia hasn't always been about skin color. In the United States, for example, many nativists hated the Irish, Catholics, Jewish people. This is what led to groups like the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, goodness gracious. But the Great Replacement theory is different in that it has found widespread appeal online. Media-savvy white supremacists have been successful making it appealing to people who are, definitely not white supremacists. This might be because now they say Great Replacement instead of...
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic when you say that, by the way. I don't know if you're saying they are or aren't. Are you saying they're just being deceiving it? I don't know.
Genocide. Even a member of Congress, Steve King of Iowa, endorsed the theory.
While those understand that culture and demographics are adjusting, we can't. I feel like that's taken out of context. That could be so many different things. That could be just immigration. I don't think that has to. I feel like that's taken out of context.
Theory. The scariest thing about this being so mainstream is that it has led to violence. A lot of it. In 2011,
yeah, that is. I will. True. Yeah, that is true. He's about to mention Norway. I know he was going to mention it. That looks like Putin, by the way.
From Norway, wrote a 1,500-page manifesto explaining his fear of white ethnic replacement by migrants from the Middle East and North Africa. He then killed 77 in a terrorist attack.
Yeah, he was really shitty for that. That was that was sad. That was very sad. Nothing would make that legitimized or warranted. So. It was sad.
This guy from Pennsylvania posted online that Jews were responsible for the Great Replacement and they needed to be killed. He then went on to kill 11 people in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. Some of those were Holocaust survivors. The next year, this guy from Texas also wrote a manifesto that said he was going to defend his country from a, quote, cultural and ethnic replacement brought on by an invasion of Hispanics. He then went on to kill 23 people at a Walmart in El Paso. And then, of course, the Buffalo shooting, which happened while we made this video.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the video, by the way, so you can look at that up on the internet. It's there. It's actually, the footage you can find is actually, like, very non-bloody for some reason. I think if you were to pause one moment, you would probably find that it's not. Oh. Oh, here we go. Sorry. The game has a history upon a lore. Yeah, like I said, I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This. Yeah, these are not helping. Actually, for them, it's actually making them worse. I would agree with you. I completely agree with you. And no matter even if this theory was true, that doesn't make it warrant. That doesn't make it right. That's fucked up. Like seriously, that you don't just gotta go show in there. That's murder, dude. And I promise you, I think the guy from Oslo even shot white people. So I don't know what the hell he was on about, but whatever. This guy right here
also was inspired by the Great Replacement theory. Now, obviously, not everyone who falls for these lies will commit a mass murder, but anyone,
obviously we're not all maniacs,
including me and you, can fall for great replacement theory messaging since they use manipulative tactics to make false claims sound plausible. And if we're not careful and critical, we can be manipulated, and heck, we could even be radicalized by this stuff. For the rest of this video, we're going to look at how people fall for the great replacement theory and look at how
This is where I stopped off, by the way.
you can avoid falling for it too. Those who tend to promote the great replacement theory.
By the way, I just want to say right now, I do not condone or support racism. It's screwed up. But I'm also not dumb or naive. What's going on? I don't think any thinker should be discriminatory against another. I don't think that's just duh, right? But there is a culture war, and race has a factor into it, but it's very complex. But what I'm trying to say is, like I said, race is not the factor; it's the culture of that race. Not all people of that race have that culture, so yeah, it's a different thing.
Often use the same talking points. They are all bullcrap, but persist anyway. Talking point number 1. Biology is destiny. It's manipulative because when we hear biology, we think, oh, it's science, so it has to be legit, right? This one says that culture is genetically determined and that genetic features predetermine cultural traits. For example, they might say that all of the problems in the African American community and in all of Africa are rooted in inferior genetics or culture.
Yeah, I have to disagree. I think it's just because, first of all, it's the biggest continent, and I think it has the biggest continent. Yeah, it's a big freaking continent. It's gonna have issues. It's very underdeveloped, so yeah, it's gonna have issues. Africa's always gonna be butt poor. Not gonna happen. Or it's not gonna be prosperous. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, I would have to disagree. Obviously, it's stupid. It doesn't mean anything. It's more geography-wise.
In other words, they say that black people inherently are less intelligent or more likely to be violent. It's bullcrap. It's been disproven by decades of scholarly research. For example,
I think I'm gonna be on very fucking thin ice about this one. So there is statistics to say that a lot of I'm trying not to be a dick, but yet again I have to say it. There has been statistics in comparison as a whole group of people that yes, it tends to be African Americans tend to be more violent, not all, but proportionally tend to be more violent than whites or any other ethnicity. So there's that. Doesn't mean all of them are, but in comparison, it is true. But doesn't mean everybody is. That's stupid. You can't say that. But there is some statistics to say, yeah, it makes it half true, but yet again, saying all, that's a load of shit. So, okay, sorry, well, let me check the Discord. Oh, I will. You're good, man. Yeah, I agree. Well, they could. There's always your bare hands. You could always use your bare hands. They would have invented something. They would have found something that it wasn't. They would have found something. Yeah, I'll think about doing that. Why not? They would find something to kill each other for. People are always going to kill each other as long as humanity's alive. So. Violence, well, I wouldn't say violence is never the answer, but
many outcomes, from measures of intelligence to violence.
And like I said, it does tend to be less lower in comparison to whites. That is true.
Are driven by socioeconomic status and income inequality. There is absolutely no evidence that biology is the driving factor. For example, African Americans perform similarly to other Americans when given access to the same opportunities. Talking point number
Well, yeah, it's not really a race thing, but yeah.
Number 2, we are brave to speak the truth, and the normies are cowards. It's manipulative because it's fun to be in a secret club and have access to secret information. Basically, this one says that people with racist beliefs are actually countercultural truth tellers. They're not sheep who conform. Yeah, if conforming means not being racist, I think we ought to conform then. And for people who don't conform, they sure use the same talking points a lot. Talking point number 3, diversity is conflict.
It is very true. If you have large groups of people in one country, it does tend to have that effect. So yeah.
Manipulative because the vast majority of us fear conflict. And this one says that diversity automatically causes conflict.
Not automatically, there's other factors, but it is a major factor.
It often relies on cherry-picking evidence and studies to back up its claim. It's bullcrap. There is
Just read the history books.
plenty of research that actually shows that diversity enriches societies, even in the ways the haters claim to care about. For example, diverse groups of problem solvers often outperform groups of high performers on really tough problems. And that makes sense because tough problems need new perspectives. It's how we got automatic elevator doors, basketball, and the iPhone. That's right, that thing you're watching this video on right now wouldn't exist without diversity. Talking point number 4. Whites are being exploited. It's manipulative because people naturally don't want to be
Well, you have to say how.
taken advantage of. This one says whites are victims of diversity and says that whites are being taken advantage of by non-whites and, quote, race traders, or whites that don't have these views. They argue that it's natural for humans to act in the interest of their own race, even at the expense of others outside of their group. It's bullcrap. Remember, powerful people created the whole idea of race in order to divide
That's not true. It's scientific. I don't think I should have to explain.
us and to justify their place.
Obviously, dude, somebody is gonna walk down the street and be like, yeah, you know, that guy has a different skin tone than me. Like, you act like if we didn't know about race, we would just be like, oh yeah, totally. Like, what do you mean?
The top of social hierarchies. Also, how exactly are whites being exploited? This is manipulative because it points to a vague threat to make you feel scared, yet doesn't provide good evidence of specific exploitation of whites. And remember, humans cooperating and working together is what built, you know, all of human history. Talking point number 5. Things used to be so much better. It's manipulative because we
Yeah, that is true.
generally all love nostalgia or an emotional connection to a period in the past. This one tries to inspire nostalgia for an imaginary past when things were better and tradition was respected. In particular, this talking point revolves around the myth that, quote, racial purity used to be a thing and that racial groups used to live separately, and because of that, things were better. It's bullcrap.
No. But, there was a lot of people from both white and black that wanted to do their own thing. One example is Malcolm X. He didn't want to be associated with everybody. He wanted to be his own thing. Which is fine. I mean, that's fine. Be with who you want to be. So, I mean, it was there. But obviously, it was discrimination. I'm talking about civil rights movement, by the way. But Malcolm X, yeah, wanted to do his own thing. I mean, it's half true, but
all modern humans originated from Africa. Different groups of humans have always interacted, and new ethnic groups have formed and evolved throughout human history. Talking point number 6. The Jews are to blame. Yeah, do I really have to explain this one?
I think he's gonna mention communism.
I made a whole video on the history of anti-Semitism, if you also want to check that one out. There are also things to watch out for, what I call Great Replacement Theory red flags. Those who tend to promote the Great Replacement Theory also use shocking images to dehumanize non-whites. They bring up IQ a lot. They bring up Marx, as in Karl Marx.
Told you. So let me go ahead and talk about this. Reasons why a lot of people do not like, or some don't, was because communism, obviously America has its rivals, and communism was one of them, and Karl Marx was Jewish, so there's that. So technically people believe it's a Jewish philosophy. So, because it was made by a Jewish person, which couldn't be interpreted that way, but not definitively, so...
They bring up cultural Marxism a lot. They bring up open borders a lot. They often refer to migration.
I mean, these two were major factors that would especially right now, I would say those are pretty major.
As an invasion. They tend to talk trash about diversity and multiculturalism. They tend to use certain rhetorical strategies to make radical views seem not so radical at all. Probably the most common rhetorical strategy is limited framing. Limited framing is usually applied in videos in which the host on screen will put boundaries on the discussion to make someone with crazy views seem more reasonable. Basically, they leave out the more controversial stuff and focus on the less controversial stuff they are saying, like that Warren Northern video I mentioned earlier. And to deflect a bit and to convince you that their opinions are not...
Let me make sure you haven't texted any or what's going on there. That's what I'm saying, man. It is true. Diversity, I mean, you can see it. Like... Yeah, like... Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's not... You're not wrong. Wait. What's going on? I didn't know what that was all about. Did I say something? I'm confused. I don't know who that's towards.
That time's 11.
Alright.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully I didn't just hear that.
So crazy after all. They'll say things like, people are saying. If you get angry at their opinions, they might say, you mad bro, to attempt to make it seem like you're overreacting. Or weak. They present their information as if they are giving the uncomfortable truth that is a threat to the elites, or the establishment, or the new world order, or the globalists, or even just they. They'll say, you have been lied to, or title their videos something along the lines of, the truth about immigration, or the real history of immigration, to defend themselves. They'll often say, I'm just asking questions, or attack you for not being open-minded enough. Overall, they rely heavily on logical fallacies. Here's a video I made about logical fallacies, by the way.
Which, by the way, was a very good video, and yeah.
So what is that now?
That's a totally different subject, but that was not a very good
videos
video.
To watch after this? That's a lot of homework. And finally, Great Replacement Theory promoters often use memes. Seriously. In fact,
you're gonna mention Pepe the Frog, aren't you?
Why the Great Replacement Theory
Don't do it. I know you're gonna do it.
Years. So let's look at some memes and see if you can spot these Great Replacement Theory.
He's gonna mention Pepe the Frog. I know he is.
Oh yeah, first of all, this is literally a limited frame. The person who put this together wanted you to believe that this photo was of men from Afghanistan fleeing the country to the United States after it fell to the Taliban in the summer of 2021. However, and I had to do a lot of digging to find this out, this photo is actually a group of immigrants returning to Afghanistan from Turkey in 2018. What helped me researching it is doing a reverse image search of the photo, and I suggest you do the same whenever you come across any photo that gets you fired up. So the first red flag is the picture. Next, of course, there's the red flag of calling accepting refugees into a country an invasion. 2 red flags right off the bat with this one. One again is that word, invading.
Dude, that guy's face is hilarious.
And second is the shocking image to
can meme that.
dehumanize. This also hits at talking point number 3. Diversity is
It is.
conflict. This picture was circulated claiming to be a picture of refugees fighting with police in Germany in 2015 at the height of the refugee crisis. It was used to manipulate people into being afraid of refugees.
Dude, this is literally just the internet. I don't even know how this is relevant. It's just the fucking internet.
Well, the picture was actually taken in 2012 and had nothing to do with the refugee crisis. There's the IQ red flag, of course, and then they just show a picture of supposedly French black people, although I couldn't find where this picture originated from. And so who knows where these people are actually from? And they're not even really trying that hard anymore. They're just showing a picture of black people next to unsubstantiated text. Folks,
No, wait, you're telling me this is the internet? You're
can't
nuts.
even stand peacefully without these manipulators looking for a way to weaponize their image. Hey, I can do that too, see? I could write literally anything. It doesn't make it true. And while that link at the bottom goes to a real study, it has nothing to do with rising immigration in France. But how many people would actually click on it to look at that study? Probably not many.
So you're saying it's a legitimate argument, just nobody's going into it. Okay.
Okay, this also hits at talking point number 1. Biology is destiny. This fits the formula of...
Let's see. They hate us. They hate our heritage. They hate our flag. They hate our freedom, to be honest. They hate our monuments. They hate our and they do everything to wipe us out. Okay, maybe. You had me there in the first half. Well, that's true.
Giving the uncomfortable truth that is a threat to the elites, or in this case, they. Who are they, by the way? I've always wanted to know who they were. Anyway, this also hits talking point number 1. Biology is destiny. And Marx, and there's the giving of the rising immigration.
I fucked up. Let's see where.
There's the giving of the uncomfortable
There we are.
worlders. And talking point number 4, whites are being exploited. Oof, this one is especially horrendous. Talking point number 4, whites are being exploited. Talking point number 6, the Jews are to blame. And a bunch of stuff about IQ and Marx. And there's the giving of
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, are you okay? Hold on. Are you talking about the face I was making? The face I was making fun of that meme, the guy. I was just talking about the face. I wasn't talking about anything else. I was just saying that face was meme worthy. I'm a little bit confused. Sorry, I'm just trying. elaborate. Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. I read that and I thought you were talking about something else I was talking about. My bad. I apologize.
That is a threat to the elites. So here is a picture of the mayor of the London borough of Camden. She is the first black mayor of Camden, and no, is not a supremacist of any kind. What I particularly found fascinating about this one is that the meme implies she needs to be deported back home. Well, I guess deport her to Camden then, since she's lived there her whole life? There are many, many more examples I found online, but at this point, I'm just getting worn out by all the fear and hate. So let's just wrap this up. The bottom line is the Great Replacement Theory is still a big movement because its proponents have done well to play on the natural fears people have of economic and social instability and just change in general. In case you haven't noticed, things haven't been all peachy for the majority of us lately. The world has plenty of problems. Often, it's easier for us to just place blame on certain groups, and groups that are less like us are easy targets. So what can you do in response to Great Replacement Theory manipulation? Number 1, probe the point. Does the content use one of these common talking points that are
But
not
a lot of
evidence?
these things, well, at least I like these two. Maybe this one. I like these three. Well, at least half of them are fine.
Number 2,
The other
fish
half
for
are crazy.
flags. Are there any red flags present? Like regular mentions of IQ, use of words like invasion,
But maybe that's a
and
factor.
shocking images? Number 3, resist the rhetoric. Is there use of a rhetorical strategy like limited framing, reference to a mysterious elitist majority they, or use of logical fallacies? But you fell in love with them anyway. Follow research before
this
you
shit's
share a
boring.
meme
Okay, I guess
yourself.
we'll just keep
These are
going.
some small
Got
steps
2
you
more
can take
minutes.
to make sure that you don't fall for this messaging, and in general, make society a safer and more peaceful place for all of us. Speaking of all of us, we can't be replaced because humans reproduce. We just make more humans. Let's end this video with a thought experiment. Imagine if you met someone from a foreign country who looked a lot different than you. They had a different religion than you. They liked different foods and music than you. Heck, they didn't even speak your language. But you fell in love with them anyway, and you both got married and had kids and lived happily ever after. Wait, about your future kids. You'd love them too, wouldn't you? They can't replace us because
what?
they
What are you
are
talking-
us.
Wait, what?
Don't be
I'm
fooled.
confused.
Human differences are really small, so we don't have to fear each other. Instead, let's just get to know each other.
So, like I said, I don't agree with a lot of what he said in the video. I think a lot of it's just kind of bullshit. Or it's downplaying the actual factual stuff that's true and just labeling as racist. Yeah. But I think anyway, I think the video was pretty shitty, to be honest with you. I always just thought it was kind of stupid. It didn't make any sense, and I still agree by it, so. Well, that's it, really, man. Thanks for actually watching. I was kind of bored. I was just making this video for the records. I'm literally about to get to the hour mark on this. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I just hated this freaking video. I thought it was really stupid, to be completely honest. Yeah, aliens will come down. The Egyptians were right to be, however. Yeah, they built the pyramids for a reason, man. The aliens are coming back. They're gonna get on their tripods. But anyway, I just think I just think it's really dumb. This video. But I don't know, man. What did you think of the video? And what did you think about what I said? I'm just curious what you're thinking. Oh, see you, man. I didn't know what you were doing. I was just gonna ask if you agreed with anything or yeah. Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is he's not completely wrong, but he also like I don't know. Oh, you're not leaving, cool. Um, yeah. No, I might fucking I might hold on. Let me see. Oh no, you're good, man. You're fine. You're awesome. Thanks for watching me bitch about this guy. I like his videos. He makes really good videos. Um, I'm not really gonna leave a comment because I feel like I'm just gonna get some freaking hate or just be called racist. So I'm not really interested right now. Uh, yeah. Whatever, man. I so disagree. Whatever, man. I don't really know what to do. Oh no, you're not wrong. He makes some really good videos. Mr. Pete, he makes some really good videos. He does presidential election videos, and yeah, I think he does really well. But politics is not his thing. He when he talks about politics, the airport checker. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Uh, airport, yeah, that's pretty good. It took me a second to register what you're trying to say, but yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's funny. Um, I might so I don't know what to do. I don't really know what to do, man. I'm bored. Um, oh yeah, here. Did you watch my video on what was it? Call of Duty? Yeah. Here, actually, I might live stream. I don't know. Yeah, I'm bored too, yeah. I feel like playing some SCP. Kinda. I would have a buddy to play with, but yeah. 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 I know. A little. Yeah, I see what you meant. Yeah, that's another good one. I find some candies. I made this video. Let's see if I got any. You know, skill-based matchmaking. Oh god, the audio is so bad. And I'm pretty sure you're like the only guy that actually watched it. That's been a major issue. Is the story. Now, if you looked at my live stream of the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reveal of the 8th of June today, yeah, it was okay. They could have rendered some scenes a little better. It looks a little poopy, you know. It didn't look all that great. But in other places, it looked really good. You know, it just looked like 2019 graphics, which is fine. Don't. Yeah, looks like crap. Tomorrow's Sunday. I'm not gonna. Yeah, today's Friday though. Wait a minute. Unless you live somewhere else, I'm confused. Wait a minute. No, today's Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday, man. Here. I'm gonna. Yeah, today's Saturday, by the way. Or not Saturday. It's gonna be Saturday in 2 hours, but today's Friday. All right, man. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I don't know, do something. I might stream in a second. I gotta end this video though. I don't want to edit this out. Um, but yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? I hope you have a good night. I'll see you later.